Good morning, friends. We are the 10s on duty, 10 number 9 from Petach Tikva, Tiberias, Russia, Peter 10 number 2, Germany, Köln and Düsseldorf, the ex-Yugoslavia and Latvia. We'll be reading from Shamari 86 from Bala Sulam, and they built store cities. There is a great rule we must know. Our work, which was given to us to be so as to be based on faith above reason, it is not because we are unworthy of a high degree. And this is why we were given it, so it is all in the vessel of faith. It appears to us as ignominy and worthlessness, and a person is anxious for when will he be able to rid himself of this burden called faith above reason. However, it is actually a great and very important degree, whose sublimity is immeasurable. The reason it appears to us as ignominy is because of the will to receive in us. Thus, we must discern a rosh, head, and a guf, body, in the will to receive. The rosh is called knowing, and the guf is called receiving. Because of that, we consider everything that is against knowing as low and beastly. Now, we can interpret what Abraham the patriarch asked, "Whereby shall I know that I would inherit it?" How would it be possible for them to accept the burden of faith, since that is against reason? And who can go against reason? Thus, how will they come to be granted the light of faith, since perfection depends on that alone? The Creator answered him, "Know for sure, etc., that they will be in exile." A question for a workshop. What is the importance of working in faith above reason in the 10? Again, what is the importance of working in faith above reason in the 10?
I don't know exactly what above reason means. I just know that what I feel within reason and in my heart. When I come to the society, I need to ignore it and to just devote myself to the friends as much as possible and to see them as great and how they are walking the path correctly, and myself as someone who just wants to be among them.
Yeah, it seems as though if we want to walk on the path of truth, then for sure it shouldn't be within reason, because we are not capable of understanding exactly what is ahead of us and what is the right connection between us, what should it look like, and how it should be revealed in the future. Right now, every action that we do is in the direction of connection in order to discover that reality.
Exactly. Within reason, it's the separate reality where I feel just myself, and faith above reason is all the attempts and efforts that each one of us makes in order to depict himself, see himself within the corrected connections between us. And only this work, as the Kabbalists teach us, as they direct us, this work is what elicits the assistance, which makes this from, attempts to success.
As the friends were speaking, I realized that connection is something that you cannot grasp in the mind, because this is a matter of bestowal. And therefore, any effort we make in connection, which we cannot understand really, is something which is above reason. It's a means to make an action which is not according to our reason, but according to the recommendations of Kabbalists and things that we hear in the lesson or from each other. And we perform an action which is simply, well, at least we try to make an action which is above reason.
It's like setting for ourselves the goal, what it is that we want to achieve, what do we want to discover. And from the fact that the Kabbalists tell us and write to us about the same things. And in order to be in that same feeling, sensation and thought as they were, even though it's far above what we feel right now, well, it's far above what we feel right now and what we can think.
Listen to the friends, hear them, hear Rav, and what it says, and do what you're being told, what the environment tells you. Immediately the ego jumps, and then right there you have to go against the ego, and you do what you're told, you connect with the friends, you connect with the friends.
Our reason will always resist spiritual revelation within the 10. It's seemingly against reason, against logic. This requires a power from above which can change us, but prayer itself needs to be above reason. It's said that there is something above my ego, above my own reasoning, and to that I aspire, to that I anticipate and pray to. I want not my reasoning, but to be in a new place.
Yes, above reason is the goal. This is the place where we would like to be. And the 10 is the place to annul yourself, annul your reason, and integrate in it. These are the ready-made tools.
Yes, if the Kabbalists say that whoever wants to achieve bestowal and for something to something to happen in his life, he needs to enter a group with friends who are advancing towards that goal. And within that group he needs to annul himself and to connect with them and to be immersed in them. And from all of these efforts, something new will be discovered, which is a new force which the person individually or alone cannot feel.
I think that anyone who is here has already gone half the path. He already established that nothing good will happen within reason. Otherwise, he wouldn't be here, because his reason would not direct him here. Here we came, we gathered together in order to build a kli, in order to acquire the mind of the upper one, the mind of our teacher, and the Kabbalists who wrote the books for us, and to see how it is possible to arrange life within an environment in which there are ties of bestowal.
And seemingly to determine that nothing can happen within reason, well, that seems obvious. We can all see that the world isn't advancing to a better place. Here we have a more sublime goal. We want to be in connection with the Creator, and we know that cannot be discovered. And never mind how much we keep looking within reason, we know He won't be found there. And above reason, we don't know what that is exactly, and so we have the 10, we have each other. And we're trying to envision this connection right now, together. Everyone's seated around the table right now, and in there, the Creator is within that inner connection, and that connection is something that's very palpable. You can annul towards it.
יתהללו בשם קודשו, ישמח לב שלום חברים, מספר הודעות.
Hello friends, a few announcements. Food and drink. You must not bring food into the study hall from the outside. You can only eat on the ramp. You can make coffee only inside the study hall in the corners, the coffee corners which are kosher for Passover. If you made coffee and went out to the ramp, do not bring it back in, even if the coffee was prepared in the kosher coffee drinks, in the coffee corners. The men's coffee corners on the left side of the stage, women's on the right side of the stage. Do not put any objects on the tables, such as phones or keys or whatever. You can only put them on the tables in plastic bags that you can find on the entrance table at the entrance to the study hall. This is also a good time to disconnect your phones. Do not put any bags on the desks. You can only put them on the chairs. Anyone that had a book or some writing instrument fall on the floor should signal to the supervisors to come and pick it up. Under no circumstances do you pick it up from the floor by yourself. Men's toilets are on the left side of the stage, women's on the right side of the stage. Please follow the instructions of the ushers and the supervisors. And we're going to begin to read from the Passover book with Rabash. Essay, what are the light mitzvot that a person tramples with his heels in the work? You can find it in Hebrew in the Passover book or in Rabash volume 2. Reading Rabash, what are the light mitzvot that a person tramples with his heels in the work? So we are reading in the book of Passover, page 219 in Hebrew, or you can find it also in English. What are the light mitzvot that a person tramples with his heels in the work? You can download this essay in our website, and you can also ask questions on kab.tv. So, reading Rabash's essay, what are the light mitzvot that a person tramples with his heels in the work? About the verse, and it shall come to pass, because you listen and keep and do them. And the Lord your God will keep with you the covenant and the mercy that he swore to your forefathers. Rashi interpreted as follows. If the mitzvot, the commandments or good deeds, are light, which a person tramples with his feet, listen, and the Lord will keep with you his promise. So far his words. We should understand what it means to us that if a person keeps the light mitzvot, then the Creator will keep with you the oath. We should understand this condition. which implies that otherwise it is as though he, God forbid, cannot keep the oath he swore to your forefathers. We should also understand what the interpreters ask. Why does he begin with plural form in Hebrew, keep and do, and end in singular form in Hebrew, he will keep with you? To understand this, we first need to understand the meaning of the 613 mitzvot that we were given in general. In the introduction to the book of Zohar, it says there, the mitzvot in the Torah are called pkudin, Aramaic commands or deposits, as well as 613:18, Aramaic counsels. The difference between them is that in all things there is panim and achor, face and back. The preparation for something is called achor, and the attainment of the matter is called panim. Similarly, in Torah and mitzvot, there are we shall do and we shall hear. When keeping Torah and mitzvot as doers of His word, prior to being rewarded with hearing, the mitzvot are called 613:18 and are regarded as achor, posterior. When rewarded with hearing the voice of His word, the 613 mitzvot become pkudin, from the word pikadon, deposit. This is so because there are 613 mitzvot, where in each mitzvah the light of a unique degree is deposited, corresponding to a special organ in the 613 organs and tendons of the soul, etc. And this is regarded as the panim, the anterior of the mitzvot. Doers of His word is during the preparation, before a person is rewarded with hearing the voice of His word. Because hearing is relevant when a person has been rewarded with vessels of bestowal, for only then is there a receptacle for the abundance to clothe in vessels of bestowal. At that time, he has ears to hear the voice of the Creator. But while he is still immersed in vessels of reception, that person must work in doing, called action. Although the body disagrees to work for the sake of the Creator. Rather, he must believe that although he is in a state of lowliness, meaning that the body disagrees with this work, to work for the sake of the Creator, still the Creator enjoys this, because in a state of loneliness, a person feels that he needs the Creator's help. Hence, at that time, he has close contact with the Creator, since he feels that he has no other way, and only the Creator can save him and deliver him from this loneliness. However, the person asks himself, where are the Creator's justice and integrity? He labors and keeps Torah and mitzvot, and he wants no reward for this. Rather, he wants to work for the sake of the Creator. As it is written in the Zohar, to work because he wants to serve a great king, meaning because he is great and ruling. When he asks the Creator to let him feel his greatness, and the person believes that the Creator hears the prayer of every mouth, each day he stands and waits to have more feeling of the greatness of the Creator. But in the end he sees he has come to greater lowliness. In other words, he feels that people on the street are not as immersed in self-love. So the person asks, how come people on the street who have no prayer that the Creator will deliver them from self-love are fine? He sees that they feel the order of the work in utter completeness, meaning they know that each day they are advancing, meaning that their possessions are growing. It is, as I said once, that each of them has a log where he sees how many mitzvot were registered to his name each day, and how many pages of Gemara he can write in his log. He, on the contrary, sees the opposite, that each day he is worse than the day before. When a person introspects, he sees that he has several ascents each day, until he sometimes thinks, now I am certain that I have reached my goal. Not as it was until now. But suddenly, thoughts that confuse him come to him, and he forgets everything. Meaning he completely forgets even about the ascents, and feels nothing but loneliness. Now, after all the work he has done, he has become worse than ever. He begins to look at himself, and finds not one good deed. And he feels as though he has never observed Torah and mitzvot. The question is, how can a person explain these feelings to himself? Are they true or false? That is, with respect to reality, and reality cannot be erased, he certainly exerted and kept Torah and mitzvot. But according to his feeling, it all disappeared. The question is, where did they go? Meaning, who took them, since he does not feel them? He cannot say that he is suffering from amnesia, and this is why he has forgotten everything. After all, he says, he does remember the bad things he did. The answer is that we must believe in the sages. As it is said in the Zohar, which interprets what is written, or make it known to him that he has sinned. It asks, who makes it known to him? And it explains the Torah. As we once explained, by learning Torah with the intention to achieve the truth, meaning to truly be a servant of the Creator, meaning that by observing Torah and mitzvot, he does not mean to work for himself, meaning that he will receive reward. Rather, he wants to keep Torah and mitzvot, as our sages said, I have created the evil inclination, I have created the Torah as a spice. That is, he learns Torah as an advice by which to truly become a servant of the Creator. Meaning that he wants to work for the sake of the Creator. So the Torah notifies him that he has sinned. This means that the order of the Torah as a spice is that first it lets him know that he has sinned, meaning how immersed he is in self-love. This is regarded as the Torah, which is the spice, gives him the kli, meaning the lack, so he will need the Creator's help. It follows that the Torah notifies him that his faith in the Creator is something foreign to him. Put differently, he feels how far he is from the Creator, that the Creator to him is like a stranger. As Baal HaSulam once said about the verse, there shall be no strange God within you. God means that the Creator should be to you like something foreign, with whom you have no connection. A person is immersed in self-love, which is a disparity of form from the Creator, since the Creator only wishes to bestow, while a person by nature wishes only to receive. For this reason, he and I cannot dwell in the same abode. It follows that where one should have felt close to the Creator, he feels remoteness from the Creator. This is what the Torah makes him know, meaning to one who learns Torah, since he believes in the words of our sages, who said, the Creator said, I have created the evil inclination, I have created the Torah as a spice. The spice is given to a person, so he will feel how far he is from the Creator. It follows that the Torah gives the man the kli, meaning the lack, for man to ask the Creator to deliver him from the exile called exile in Egypt. It is known that Metzar Yam, or Mitzrayim, Egypt, means Tsar Ein, literally narrow-eyed or jealous. That is, the person has no power to bestow, but only to receive. Although he sees that it is impossible to come near the Creator before all his actions are in order to bestow, he nonetheless sees that there is no other way he will be able to achieve this without his help. We already said many times why the Creator did this, meaning that there will be no option for a person to emerge from Pharaoh's control. The answer is, as Baal HaSulam said about what Abraham asked the Creator when he promised him the inheritance of the land. How will I know that I will inherit it? And he said to Abraham, know that your descendants will be strangers in a land that is not theirs. He said that Abraham's question was that he saw what would be the inheritance of the land, which is Malchut, that carries the upper abundance, which contains the 5 qualities Naranchai of Kedusha. Also, it is known that there is no light without a Kli, meaning no filling without a need. Yet Abraham saw that Israel have no need to obtain the completion of the degree. Rather, if they attain a little bit of illumination from above, they will be satisfied. Naturally, they will have no need to obtain the Naranchai of Neshama that is included in Malchut, which is called the inheritance of the land.
Love. By what means can we always renew the lack? By what means can the lack for the inheritance of the land be renewed? Please. More actively, quicker.
By exerting and turning the Creator, not trying to find the solution by ourselves.
By working with each other mutually.
Trying to connect, and the Torah gives the solution.
The renewal of the lack can only come by integrating with an external Kli, something outside of me. In the 10, if I manage to take the vessels of the friends, their lacks, and make them my own, then there's importance and actions.
One constantly leaves this the desire. It builds a desire in him.
The inheritance of the land is the achievement of the goal. It's adhesion with the Creator. It's possible in the quality of bestowal to renew the lack if we understand that help comes from above. We need to make an effort, and the assistance will come from above.
Yes, as the Creator says that we have to be in exile. We need to try to be in the inheritance of the land by ourselves, and by that to discover that we are in exile from that state, and then an efficiency develops.
Yes, and I want to share that in the recent days I'm very impressed by this, inspired. When we're not here, and you just suddenly awaken and remember that the Creator put us in the family, at work, and then suddenly again at the lesson and the gathering of friends, Yeshivat Chaverim, that these are all changes in our perception of reality, and this is how He awakens us, by disconnecting us momentarily.
Well, we feel that it passes through the society. We get the awakening through the friends, when the friends are initiating and they're active and searching for how to get out of the routine from that comfort zone, then light works on that. And this way, in a surrounding kind of manner, it shines on each one of us.
Yes, when we discover in the attempt to connect, the inability to connect, and, well, the Torah, the light, gives us that, so that we can turn to the Creator and use new lacks between us.
The deficiency is determined according to the importance that I give each goal. If the goal is specific, the spiritual goal is what's important for me, then this is the kind of deficiency that we need more of. And this is possible only if you put ourselves in the environment of the friends. In the recent days, you can actually see an example for that, how the friends can change reality.
You work more with the friends, and then you can be put out, driven to exile, and then from all these motions, in and out, the lack grows.
In general, the deficiency comes from the environment, any kind of deficiency. You are trying to build a specific deficiency, something that we have only a little spark, unscrutinized spark of, and through our common work we give it, if not volume, we give it a direction. We try to reach a common deficiency. In general, to reach anything common is above reason.
Yes, in order to achieve something common, there needs to be a great appreciation for the society. That lack is what it values. And if I'm impressed by the society enough, then I'll also feel that same lack as something valuable.
The question was about renewing the deficiency. So it's a deficiency that exists, but we have to feel it as new each time. How can we renew it?
By investing in the society, in the environment.
Yes, by awakening the friends, giving them the strength to keep going on a path and to search how to be more precise in the connection between us and how to turn to the Creator who is always with us.
Renewal. That's the key here. How can we constantly be renewing? Something that you repeat many times becomes just routine. So what's a renewal in just repeating same actions, which at some point were new? It seems that we need to strive towards something more inner, more for the sake of the Creator.
Maybe the deficiency for the inheritance of the land is indeed renewed by the Creator. Reading from the Passover book, continuing to read. So how, said Abraham, will they receive the light when they have no kelim, vessels called need? At that time the Creator told him, know for certain that your descendants will be strangers in a land that is not theirs. In other words, the people of Israel will be in an eretz, land, meaning ratzon, desire, that does not belong to the people of Israel. Rather, they will be under the rule of the will to receive, which belongs to Pharaoh, king of Egypt. They will be tormented, meaning that the people of Israel will suffer because they are unable to work in order to bestow, which would bring them dvekut, adhesion with the Creator. At that time, they will need the Creator's help. As it is written, and their cry rose up to God from the work, and God heard their groaning, and God remembered His covenant with Abraham. Our sages said, he who comes to purify is aided. The Zohar asks, how is he aided? And it replies, with a holy soul. In other words, first one is given nefesh. If he is rewarded more, he is given ruach. This means that to the extent that one comes to purify himself and demands help, the help he receives from above is considered part of the inheritance of the land. According to the above, we should interpret what we asked. Why, when a person begins to learn Torah, for the reason that the Torah is called a spice, when one begins to walk on the path of truth, where the Torah is as 18, meaning counsels how to conquer the evil inclination, the person begins to see how each time, instead of feeling closer to the Creator, he feels that he has become father. We asked, is this the way of Torah, by which one becomes father from the Creator? The answer was that the Torah first gives him a kli, meaning the lack, to see how far he is from the Creator. This is why the Zohar says that the Torah notifies him that he has sinned. It follows that one should not say that he is learning Torah in truth. So why does the Torah not help him as a spice? The answer is that one should believe in the sages, that the Torah does help him by revealing to him that he has sinned, meaning how far he is from the Creator. And because of it, he can pray from the bottom of the heart, since he feels that he is worse than other people. Although, if he asks himself, he will see that he makes more efforts to keep Torah and mitzvot. So, why does he feel that he is worse? A person cannot answer that. But he says that as far as feeling, he feels that now he is worse than when he engaged in Torah and mitzvot before he began to work on the path of truth. In other words, in everything he does, he sees that it is all half-heartedly and not as before. This is as Baal HaSulam said, that the Creator said to Abraham, "Know for certain that your descendants will be strangers in a land that is not theirs, and they will be tormented. By this they will have a need to inherit the land. That is, by the lack that they will have when they will be bare and destitute, they will be in a state of, and the children of Israel sighed from the work, and their cry rose up to God from the work." In other words, the work itself, the fact that they are not progressing in the work, but to the contrary, that will create their need, and then the Creator will help them each time they want to become purer. By this they will have kelim to receive the inheritance of the land. According to the above, we should interpret what we asked, and it came to pass, because you listen, that the Lord your God will keep with you the covenant and the mercy that He swore to your forefathers. Rashi interpreted, if the light mitzvot which a person tramples with his feet listen, and the Lord will keep with you His promise. We should understand what is this condition, that if you keep the light ones, the Creator will keep His promise. Otherwise, He will not keep the oath. The thing is that light mitzvot means things that people belittle, referring to the mind and to the heart. That is, all the mitzvot, when keeping them in order to receive reward, a person does not belittle these mitzvot. Instead, all of these mitzvot are called serious or strict, since they might cause the loss of the reward. Therefore, the reward they expect to receive in return for them makes these mitzvot important. In other words, the reward makes them valuable. But when a person should work for the sake of the Creator, which is to him above reason, a person has no regard for this, since the body resists working for no reward. Therefore, when we say to the body that we must work only in order to bestow upon the Creator, the body says that this is far from the mind, and it is not worth straining for such work. Then the person sees that he cannot overcome the body. As Baal HaSulam explained, the fact that it is not within man's power to emerge from the control of the will to receive for himself The Creator did this on purpose, so that by this a person will acquire a need for the Creator's help. For otherwise he is lost. Hence, when a person asks of the Creator to help him, by this he receives help from above. This is the light of the Torah, which reforms him. As said in the Zohar, that by this he receives kelim and a need to attain the Naran Chai of Neshama. This was the Creator's answer to Abraham's question, how will I know that I will inherit it? It follows that precisely when a person wants to keep the light mitzvot, he needs the Creator's help. Otherwise, if a person has no need to keep the light mitzvot, which are contemptible mitzvot, then he does not need the Creator's help. And since he has no need for the Creator to help him, by giving him Naran Chai of Neshama, since he has no need for this, hence Abraham's question, how will I know that I will inherit it, returns, since he has no need to obtain the inheritance of the land. It therefore follows that the Creator cannot keep the oath concerning the inheritance of the land. For this reason, Rashi's interpretation, where he says that if you keep the light mitzvot, the Creator will be able to keep and the Lord will keep, meaning that the Creator will keep His promise. Otherwise, it is impossible to keep His promise. Accordingly, we should interpret what we asked. Why does it begin in plural form, ushmartem, do, ve'asitem, and keep, in Hebrew, and ends in singular form? The answer is that when a person begins to work, he has two authorities.
So what exactly do we need to ask regarding what the Creator meant when he spoke to Abraham? What should we be asking? About what? What is the demand that we need to present to the Creator according to what's explained to Abraham? Please.
The demand we should present to the Creator is that we want to be connected, that we want to be with Him above calculations, above the reward which is in our feeling.
In other words, to want to come out of the governance of the will to receive and to want the Creator to help us do this.
The demand is for a deficiency, right? To have a deficiency, so that there will always be an addition of deficiency.
Yes, the demand to invert the intention, to invert it. So there will be a lack to invert the intention, and if we have the correct lack, the Creator will invert this situation.
This is a demand, and this connects to the question that we started with about above reason. This is indeed what we need to present to the Creator, a desire to ascend and ask for something which is above our reason, that we don't manage to attain, and then we demand from the Creator to come in.
We demand that He intervenes and supplies us with this power of bestowal regarding these light commandments which we belittle.
The demand is for the reforming light. The demand is that specifically the quality of bestowal will come in and make a change in the intention of the created being, so that he will prefer, instead of fulfilling himself, he will prefer to be in contact, in adhesion with the Creator. Therefore, even the very request, to be in that request, that's already a goal.
Yes. And here, what the Creator says is that the light commandments need to be valued. It's not when you think you're inspired right now, and God forbid if you miss out on a single moment of intention, then you'll miss out on the reward, because it's clear that then you'll try to observe them because you enjoy it and you value them. But it's especially about those situations where you're in between, not so inspired. So you should know that at those times, in those places, the Creator demands you to make the effort, because these are the most important actions with the greatest reward.
I would add that he uses the word need in this article in every paragraph, to reach a need for the Creator's help. So all of the actions that we do, all of the counsels that we try to implement, we should know that we simply have to reach a state of a need for the Creator's help, well, with God's help.
And in action, in practice, that's the outcome of our work, to come to a desire for the Creator's help.
The Creator told Abraham, I'm going to put you into a complete will to receive, a strong one, so that...
Rav, we had a Shivat Chaverim yesterday, an assembly of friends. Don't you remember?
Yes.
Who remembers? And who doesn't? 1. 2. All right. How was it special? In what was yesterday's Yeshivat Chaverim special in comparison to all of the other assemblies thus far? Please, share your impressions.
There was something in the air. Maybe it was thanks to the special preparation that we had. There was something in the air. It was a deeper demand, or a more internal layer than just crying out an externality. Rather, something where everyone understood that we now have to ask together for something new, that we're not even familiar with it. It's so internal, but it's on a different layer of reality.
The friends demanded connection.
I think that, in general, what is special about this holiday is that there is an understanding that there's no expectation that something will happen on the outside, that someone will speak in some way that will break everyone's heart, or that now there will be some special exercise. Rather, it is clear that every moment, what is happening, the very gathering, enables us to make the effort, the inner effort, and to appreciate it a lot, this connection that now we have the opportunity to build.
I feel that the preparation was an important parameter. Usually we come to the Yeshivat Chaverim at the last, we get in at the last moment before it starts, right from work, and then in the Yeshivat Chaverim we start changing reality, and this time we conducted such a preparation that reminded us what our role is, and we made a great effort to do that. And we arrived with a demand for connection already in the Yeshivat Chaverim.
I guess this is what worked, because on the outside it seems like there was nothing special in the Yeshivat Chaverim. It was completely standard, externally at least. Songs, speakers, there was nothing special about it, but nevertheless, I can say about myself that I felt how it was working in me. Just sitting next to the friends, I felt a great change from the way I came in to the way I came out. Apparently the efficiency and the preparation are what makes the change.
I was at the doctor's. I had a problem with my ear, although in the end it turned out that I didn't have anything, so I'm very ashamed about that. I only saw the Yeshivat Chaverim afterwards in a rerun.
What was special about
Rav? Do we understand well that the change that we expect needs to come from within and not from some external source? Is it fully understood by us that the change that we expect needs to come from within and not from some external source?
Yes, without a doubt. That's exactly the feeling. Externally, we seemingly build some structure that is supposed to put it in a state where we don't serve the structure itself, rather we use the structure in order to achieve something internal.
And perhaps this internal change, this inner change, perhaps for that we also need to address the Creator, to ask Him to make that change.
Well, of course it is felt in the society that this change... Well, I remember the Yeshivat Chaverim we had on Shabbat, I think, about how to arrange this Passover, and there was almost a unanimity in the hall that we shouldn't generate additional events, but we have to inject internality into every event, into everything we do, not to miss out on the quality that is in the events. We don't need to add in the quantity.
As it was nice to see. I was certain, I thought, let's do this and that and this and that, and everyone says, no, that's not the direction. Completely. We only need to change our inner intention to make our work more qualitative, to prepare properly before every action, to appreciate what we already have more. And this really changed my idea of what's necessary, really. We don't need super producers here and pyrotechnics. It's enough to make the correct exertion in the given moment and to find that everything is here.
And one of the moments in the preparation yesterday is when we started talking about quality, that we need quality in our inner effort, and not to take the foot off the gas pedal there, not to stop being in an inner effort, unrelated to what is happening on the outside.
I think that we always understand that the change that we expect is internal. But I think we can also say that now it's better felt on the flesh, you could say, because you can understand it within reason, or you can understand it to such a degree that you just feel that the light needs to come, and that's it.
It's felt that we're closer to a decision that society is life, and the Creator helps, and it begins to be something serious, and the only thing.
Well, what else is there other than that new stage which we're trying to discover? That's why we came here, to discover something from within, not to build something external and to have a timetable set up for us. We just need to discover something from within. And we need to come to every activity with that knowledge in mind, that we come in order to discover internality and not the external action.
We come to the activity in order for us to change. We're continuing to read from the Passover book, or the Rabash's essay. Accordingly, we should interpret what we asked. Why does it begin in plural form, do and keep, and ends in singular form? The answer is that when a person begins to work, he has two authorities. His own authority, namely the will to receive, and he also wants to work for the Creator. When a person sees that he has two authorities, he asks the Creator to help him cancel his own authority and leave only the singular authority, meaning the authority of the Creator. Then the Creator gives him help to annul the authority and leave man with only the singular authority. This is why it is written in singular form, and the Lord your God will keep with you, meaning that the Creator will keep him so that he will have only the singular authority. According to the above, we can understand what is written: it is not in your righteousness or the integrity of your heart that you are going to inherit their land, but it is because of the wickedness of these nations that the Lord your God is driving them out before you, and in order to confirm the oath which the Lord swore to your forefathers, to Abraham. We should understand this. If the Creator wants to give the inheritance of the land to Israel, because he swore to your forefathers, to Abraham, it means that the reason he gave the inheritance of the land to the people of Israel was that he promised to Abraham the inheritance of the land. But here the verse says that the reason he gave the inheritance to Israel was the wickedness of the nations. This implies that were it not for the wickedness of the nations, he would not be able to keep his promise to the forefathers. We should understand why it is that if there is no wickedness of the nations, the Creator could not keep that if there is wickedness of the nations, the Creator can keep the oath, and because of the righteousness or the integrity of your heart, the Creator cannot keep the oath. According to the above, in the work, the wickedness of the nations means the evil within man's heart. A person cannot defeat it and must cry out to the Creator to help him and liberate him from the governance of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. How does he help him? It is as it is said in the Zohar, with a holy soul. This means that each time he asks for help, he receives a holy soul. By being in exile and wanting to emerge from exile, meaning when a person feels that he has the wickedness of the nations, who are not letting him work for the sake of the Creator, but only for himself, this is regarded as having to work for the sake of the nations of the world within his body. This is as it is written, and they built for Pharaoh cities of affliction, Pitom and Ramses. Baal HaSulam interpreted that they wanted to work for the sake of the Creator and overcome the control of the Egyptians. This is the meaning of Ramses, meaning that they overcame the self-love, like Ram Sus, thunder of a horse, meaning with great power, like a horse, and they thought that they had already emerged from the governance of self-love. But then they came to Pi Tehom, mouth of the abyss, meaning that all of the buildings that they had built were all swallowed in the abyss, and not a remnant was left of the work. This is called Pitom. In other words, each time they had work in the manner of Pitom and Ramses, meaning that each day they had to work anew. That is, each day they felt as though today they are beginning the work of holiness, and as though until now they had never engaged in the work. They asked themselves, where did the work and labor they had done thus far vanish? But they do not know what to answer. As was said, it all sank and was swallowed in the ground. They could not tell their bodies, why do you not want to exert today? After all, yesterday you saw that when you labored, you received the strength to work. You cannot receive something from yesterday, since he does not feel that yesterday he did something, for it was all swallowed in the ground. Indeed, why is this so? It is a correction. It follows that if a person looks at himself and he has good deeds, he has no need to ask the Creator to help him, since anyhow he has no place in which to receive help from the Creator, as there is no filling without a lack. Thus the Creator cannot keep the oath concerning the inheritance of the land, since they have no need that he will give to them the inheritance of the land as help. This is why he says, it is not for your righteousness or the integrity of your heart that you are going to inherit their land. Why? Because if they are fine, they have no need. This is the meaning of the words, it is because of the wickedness of the nations that the Lord your God is driving them out, since because of the evil in his body there is a need for help.
Perhaps questions, if there are any. It's a very general kind of article. Zvika. Nothing. Good. Very good.
He says, what the guys are feeling, what I feel, beforehand they felt that they were doing the holy work, and until now, they have a feeling as though they never engaged in this work. It's like a bucket with holes that the water goes through, and you don't feel that anything is happening, really.
Yes.
That feeling.
But it's a lot of work to try to fill the vessel, and then, consequently, a great desperation from the fact that you didn't manage it. But what did you want?
To fill something, not just to fill the holes in the bucket.
Why?
Fulfillment, something.
Why?
Why? In order to have fuel for the work.
And perhaps it should be the opposite. If there shouldn't be an egoistic reward for the work, so that you don't receive what you expect to receive in your ego, but rather these holes in the bucket and the work itself comprise the process through which you attain something new, different.
But how do you hold on in such a state? It takes a lot of time, many years.
You hold on with the help of the group and the Creator. What do you mean by many years? I don't understand you. Many years. I see many people who've started, like me, 50 years ago, some business, and to this very day they're engaged in the same business. And they don't think they're going to finish that. And there are those who can't be done with it. They're so tied to their business. I have a few people I know who are like that. They've committed themselves to many companies, many places, their partners everywhere and everything, and so forth. And he just can't let go, otherwise he'll be finished. You understand? It's a very wild, serious and cruel endeavor. Either you're in it or you're not. And if you let go, if you come out of it, you violate all kinds of agreements and promises. Or perhaps you don't think much of it, but the other people, they've counted you out. And they relied on you, and now you're going to risk their success. So people, whether they want it or not, they continue in this process to the end of their lives. To the end of their lives. I know people who are... There are those who are on pension. They're retired. And those who think that they're about to retire. But there are those who know that they cannot retire. That's it. They married their business to the end of their lives. And from here, no vacation, nothing like that, but from the business to the cemetery directly. And you're saying, how much more can we tolerate? What do you mean, how much? The same as them. What's the problem?
Why does Abraham ask the Creator, what does this lack of confidence come from? Why should he ask, how do I know that I will inherit it?
What would you do in his place?
What do I do in his place? If I'm one who is on such a high level spiritually, I wouldn't ask any questions. There are no questions. I wouldn't ask. I would say, great, that's it.
Why? What does this place give him? What place? What?
Well, how come the question comes? Why does he ask the Creator? Why should he ask the Creator? He should have such confidence.
What confidence does he have? He's an idol worshipper, making all kinds of idols, sculptures, now icons. So tell a person that he's now idol worshipping.
We're all engaged in that.
Oh, good, exactly. Money, respect, knowledge, everything that we engage in this world is called idolatry, idol worship. Why? Because you work for your ego who dies with you, before you, after you, whatever. There's no profit in it. That's why you're serving a statue. And what does it mean not to serve a statue, an idol? That you're in communication with something that responds, that you live with and develop with together. My flesh is given to a living Lord, living God. So now he discovers this situation, this ability. It's a new state. So he doesn't know. Then he asks. These are questions which, in his stead, we each of us needs to inhabit that character and to ask those same questions. Aren't you always asking, what will I have? What will I get? So he also asked that.
What comes out of it? What did the work and the exertion disappear? What did they do everything they did so far? They don't know how to answer it, right? You see, they don't know how to answer. If they ask me, people ask me, they ask all of us, well, what do you get out of this whole thing? What do you get out of it? Connection. And then what? So they say, come on, you with your nonsense, connection.
Because they don't understand that connection also isn't the goal, it's a means to an end. It's the network in which you catch that fat fish that you want to catch, the Leviathan. Leviathan, it's called.
Why? What should we attain? Look, it's hard work, as he says here, and
we are engaged in a business where if we all connect, more or less, a 10 can connect together. The 10 can multiply itself more and more and more. Then it fattens, so to speak. The fish fattens and fattens until it becomes the Leviathan. And the Leviathan is the entirety of the will to receive which the Creator created. And then we come to this feast of the Leviathan, meaning that we receive everything that exists within reality, and all of that comes and satisfies us, fills us, and we attain it in heart and mind, and that's it. What do you mean, what they ask? We're going to catch the fattest fish, the greatest fish. Our work is the most egoistic. It's super egoistic. I don't want to to get some Nobel Prize or a few $1 billion, which from today until tomorrow they become worthless. I mean, when I die, what does it matter to me? But rather, I'm going to obtain something very serious. Beyond all of the endeavors of this world. And they laugh at you. What are you engaged in? What you should ask them, what are you engaged in? You're playing in a sandbox. with all your businesses. What is the profit that you're making? You're just making like cookies out of sand. You're building houses of sand and so on in the sandbox. What's in it? Just like children building all these things on the seashore, on the beach. A wave comes and it's gone. So, and they see themselves as engaged in something serious. They have such a serious countenance. They're concerned, exactly like those children who are full of vim and vigor. They're working. It's the same thing.
Are there any signs in the work that we do that we are progressing?
So, right, here there's a question, and he tells us of the transition which occurs in the person in his process of study and participation. He begins to discover a new style of work, a new style in his work. He doesn't ascribe anything to himself, but rather to everyone, because, how to put it? If a person starts becoming connected to the Creator, then the vessel connected to the Creator is the general kli, the general vessel of the whole of reality. Meaning, I cannot be truly connected to the Creator if I'm not, if I don't identify with or identify with all people, all of humanity. They're interconnected. And then one feels that this is truly how it is. Meaning, it comes to us in a few stages. The first stage is where I begin to see that the friends are very successful, and I'm not. And I don't know what to do. I feel that they're striding forward, breaking through, and there's these inner relationships between them. They're talking about things which are much deeper. I feel that they're not just saying words, empty words, but from within. They're speaking from within. And it's their lives. It's in them. They have it. And I'm skeptically observing them. And I feel this suit of armor on me, blocking me from feeling like them, and to be sad and be happy in what they are, as they are. Meaning there's this breakthrough that they've made in their sensations through this klipa, this shell, like the worm that we speak of, and they begin to feel something that's outside of their egos. They now have some connection to something outside of the individual shells of each and every one. And I feel that. And on one hand, I'm full of envy, and on the other, I'm full of pride and joy. Intermittently, like that, and sometimes together at the same time. Because I am in that society, I am part of them. So if not today, then maybe tomorrow I'll be in that, and that's something already. And so we advance. So first of all, we need to try to identify within us this type of change. I'm among friends who are already in the sensation, the mutual sensation of the society, the Creator, all these things, to much higher sensitivity than myself. And that is very important. And onwards, the outcome of this is that I, out of this envy, that well-known envy, I begin to add more and more exertion. Without envy, it's impossible here. But good envy, because God forbid, I don't want them to descend, to fall, because they are for me the crane, the leverage, the rope that you throw someone drowning in the river, and I grab hold of it, and I want them to be as great and powerful as possible, because I hinge my hopes on them. In that I begin to see my relation to them being behind them and dependent on them. Well, I want it to be so. Suddenly I see that the society and the Creator, which they grab and who is within them, they are for me this rope that saves me, and it cannot be any other way. So it's very good that I'm small in comparison to them. I don't want to be small. I want them to carry me, but I'm willing to pay them and the Creator. I have the correct attitude towards the power that advances me. One who begins to feel that way, well, that's a success. He's a success. Well, but to me it seems that yesterday the Yeshivat Chaverim was much more powerful than how you... I don't know. Did anything happen? It's as if you forgot. You probably weren't there, right, Zvika?
I can't come here. I watch it in Svatova, but...
No, I understand. You have all sorts of meetings, important meetings. Okay, well, we're moving on to Tess. It's very good that you have questions, but we're moving on to Tess.
Moving on to the next part of the lesson.
Excuse me. Regarding the lessons, the morning lessons, I don't know why. How did it turn out as perhaps as if I said, or so it was understood, that you don't need to hear the morning lessons again during the day?
You said that there is some flaw in coming back to repeating the source, coming back to the source, or...
I don't remember. In any case, of course you should repeat and listen to the lessons again. I would listen to the lessons again over and over. Why did I record them on tape? It's also for us. When I recorded, sometimes it didn't always pan out, but sometimes I heard them again, and I wrote during the lessons, and then I went over everything I wrote again, and I asked the Rabash, why is this and why is that, and I saw many mistakes in what I wrote when I listened to the lessons I saw that it's completely different what I wrote and what he said, what he intended. We need to do this kind of research. How did I understand the lesson, and to try to work on that with your intellect, and especially with the new emotion. Every moment our minds and hearts are being replaced, renewed, and the same portion that we've received we can understand a different way. Now, how do we do it? How do we go over the same articles dozens of times? No, I don't remember in what context it was said, but not in relation to our lessons, which each one can try and go over again. And it's also worthwhile to read the original source texts, meaning Bala Sulam and Rabash, that we've studied without any of our interpretations, and to try to understand those articles the way he is right now, and afterwards to listen to the lesson. And it doesn't matter how we'll take it, better or worse. This builds new discernments. So please.
We are in the study of the 10 Sefirot, first volume, third part, on page 102 in Hebrew, item 3, the words of the Ari. Item 3. By the power of the Haka'ah, the striking of Or Ein Sof in the Masach, the Or returned upwards as Or Chozer, reflected light, that closed the Or Elyon, the upper light. The entire place until the Kav of Ein Sof is regarded as Olam HaAtzilut, 3. Then Or Ein Sof that expands up to there struck that Masach. By the power of the striking of the descent, it struck there and returned upward as Or Chozer to its place. Then Olam Atzilut was completed in its kelim, and Or Ein Sof clothed them once more as Atzmut. Thus, to the place where Or Ein Sof reaches by this manner, it is called Olam Atzilut, because it is the Or itself, but after its hitabut, its becoming coarser.
Again, the writings of the Ari. By the power of the Haka'ah of Or Ein Sof in the Masach, the light returned upwards as Or Chozer that clothes the Or Elyon. The entire place, until the Kav of Or Ein Sof, is regarded as Olam Atzilut. 3. Then Or Ein Sof that expands up to there struck that Masach. By the power of the Haka'ah, of the descent, it struck it and returned upward as Or Chozer to its place. Then Olam Atzilut was completed in its kelim, and Or Ein Sof clothed them once more as Atzmut. Thus, to the place where Or Ein Sof reaches by this manner, it is called Olam Atzilut, because it is the light itself, but after its hitabut, it's becoming coarser. 70, item 70, inner light. Pnimi. The encounter of the Or Elyon with the Masach is compared to two hard objects, where one of them is trying to break the other's gvul, or boundary. The other stands firmly against the first and prevents the first from trespassing. Such an encounter is called Haka'ah. However, when two liquids encounter each other, they do not prevent each other from trespassing and mixing. Hence, there is no Haka'ah between them. The same applies to two supple objects. Their Haka'ah is not really felt because they let each other permeate the other's boundary and push their outer shell to some extent. However, with hard objects, one does not let the other move one from one's place even a little. Consequently, their encounter is perceived as haka'ah, or beating. Since the tzimtzum was primarily done by the netzal, by the emanated, and not by the matzil, the emanator, the Or Ein Sof is not at all meticulous about that tzimtzum in Malchut. Instead, it stretches down to Malchut too. Moreover, it does it forcefully, because Ein Sof filled Bchina Daled too before the tzimtzum. For that reason, it has no reason to change its way, and it always descends to the Kli of Malchut with its light. However, the Masach and Pargod, the curtain, erected in Malchut, impede and detain the light. It does not let it expand within, even a bit, which is why we find that Or Ein Sof that expands up to there struck that Masach.
If there are any questions, please, you can go ahead and ask, but seriously about what is written only. Not a step back, not a step forward. Not right nor left. Who? You? Yes?
Regarding the haka'ah, if you could perhaps explain what exactly happens in this action of the haka'ah. There is something called oviyut, something called koshiyut. Who beats on who pulls who? What's happening?
Haka'ah, beating or striking, is ready in advance because there's a will to receive that pulls, and there is a masach, a screen, that doesn't allow what is drawn, what is pulled, to get in to the place that it desires, the place that needs to be filled up. So there is a striking, a beating. Now, everything they're telling us about in this kind of physical kind of form, as though there is some place that has to be filled up, and there is some barrier that doesn't let something come in. We need to understand that this is about the desires, the intentions, that one is drawn to the other. What does it mean that the upper light is drawn? Does the desire pull it? Or does the light wish to enter into the desire? Or does the desire wish to receive the light? What kind of interconnection is there between them? What here is working out of the two of them? Who is working on whom? Right? Either the will to receive pulls the light, or the light is drawn into the desire. What do you think? Did everybody understand this? Does everybody understand the question? There's the two of them, the light and the desire. Is the light drawn into the desire and it wants to break into the desire? It pressures the desire? Or is it that the desire kind of yanks into it the light and it wants the light to fill it up? Well, so here there's a question. Next, when we have the force of the masach, what is a masach? Where is it? Is it in the desire? Before the desire? How can we talk about it? That is, it's something else, a third thing that is unclear. Either the masach is before the entrance of the light into the desire, and it doesn't agree with the light, or maybe it disagrees with the desire. It depends on which one is pulling the other, and then the masach works against. What does it mean? It works against. What in spirituality is against? It's not some physical barrier, right, or some partition, or not even a potential or psychological partition, some field that rejects. So where does it work? Where is it? So we have such things here that we should, we should try to locate them in our sensation. Because all in all, spirituality is a sensation. It's inside the desire. What happens in the desire is called a feeling, a sensation. So, now, we learned a lot about it, that the upper light is abstract, that in the upper light there are no differences, but only when the desire pulls it, then it determines what kind of fulfillment it will feel in the desire, from Shoresh Aleph Bet Gimel Dalet, of the Ratzon, and or the desire, and Naran Chai. And accordingly, the size of the Masach is determined. That must be as resistance to the expansion. How can we invert this Masach from the Masach that intervenes, that prevents the expansion of the light in the Kli, to being what arranges and adds, facilitates the entrance of the light into the Kli, but in a new form, and then in the light, in the Kli, the light is felt as 620 times greater. How come? In what way? From where comes this amplification? From where such an amplification of the light comes? And how can it even be? In order to receive, for me, is the most natural. I have filled up. I'm filled up. Suddenly, in order to bestow is 620 times more? How can that be? I understand that if I give, well, I give, but to receive? I give because of lack of choice, maybe. So, we need to, why am I talking about it? Try to bring it into your emotions. Let's go.
Item 80. Item 90. That measure of light that should have been accepted in Malchut, which she did not receive due to the detainment of the Masach, that entire measure rose back up and closed all three Bchinot of Or Elyon up to Chokhmah. This is regarded as the place of that Or Choser. This is the meaning of the words of the Rav, returned upward as Or Choser to its place.
And we don't see more than Or Choser, only as much as we're capable of clothing Or Yashar. Well, we don't understand how much it is. It's the light of Ein Sof. As much as we have Or Choser, this is what we can detect, see, feel. This is the field of our perception.
100.
That is because the ascent of the Or Choser and its clothing of the Or Elyon from above downward make the kelim for the Or Elyon. 200. After the Or Choser rose back up, Or Ein Sof clothed this Or Choser as atzmut that is clothed in the kelim.
Here there are many things that we cannot talk about right now. Let's say Or Choser, reflected light. What does it say? Or Choser is not a Kli. Or Choser that clothes on the Or Yashar, direct light, it addresses it, it absorbs it by also receiving the Or Yashar in it. It becomes a Kli, a vessel, not in it in itself. So, the specific interconnection between them, where one dresses in the other, that interconnection makes from the Or Yashar and the Or Choser that relation which is called Or Plimi, inner light, and in an inner Kli, in Or Choser. Next.
Item 300, meaning up to the Masach in Kli Malchut, because the Masach pushed it back up and did not let it expand further.
Yes.
Item 400, relating to clarifying, because it is the light itself, but after its hitavut, it's becoming coarse. He wishes to say that the force of detainment in the Masach did not act on the Sfirot of Atzilut above Malchut at all, but only from Malchut downwards. That is why Or Ein Sof expands down to the Masach in Malchut as Atzilut without any detainment. However, Or Ein Sof that glitters and passes through the Masach downwards is greatly diminished because of this, and its essence is no longer regarded as Or Ein Sof.
Read it again.
Again, item 400, relating to because it is the light itself, but after it's becoming coarse. He wishes to say that the force of detainment in the Masach did not act on the Sfirot of Atzilut above Malchut at all, but only from Malchut downwards. That is why Or Ein Sof expands down to the Masach in Malchut as Atzilut without any detainment. However, Or Ein Sof that glitters and passes through the Masach downwards is greatly diminished because of this, and its essence is no longer regarded as Or Ein Sof.
So we have a light that stands before the Masach. It enters the Zivug de Aka'ah, the interconnection with the Or Choser that comes from the Masach from below upward, and it dresses in it, and it comes into the Kli, to Malchut, and there's a big difference between that and the light that was in the first line and the light that enters the Kli of Malchut. Next.
Item 4, the Ari's words. There are 4 bchinot, 4 discernments in the hitabut, or the process of becoming coarse, of the Or Elyon. 1 is the reception from the upper one, the Elyon, called Chokhmah. 2, Hachaka, or distancing from Chokhmah, which is Binah. 3, Chalon and a narrow nekev, a window and a narrow opening, which is the Ampin. And 4, Hachaka from Chokhmah and the narrow nekev, which is Malchut. This hitabut of the light is because he who sees a great light cannot tolerate it, if not through some distancing or some sort of screen or both. However, the Ein Sof shines in Keter d'Atzilut without any Masach and distancing at all. Hence the name of Keter, Ein Sof. Chokhmah receives through Keter, but Binah received the Or Ein Sof through distancing, or Hachaka, because now the Ein Sof is far from her and she can receive it. The Ampin does not receive the light, but through a narrow opening and a window. The Atzmut, the essence of the light, passes through that window without any Masach, but there is no broad path, but only a very narrow one. However, he is near, because there isn't a great distance between Binah and Zerampin. Nevertheless, Nukva de Zerampin receives her light through the Nekev, through the opening, and the window, as does Zerampin, but it is by a long distance.
we see that every light should have a special kli, and indeed, what kind of lights do we have between the Sfirot, the light of Ein Sof? What did we learn with you about the Igulim and Yosher? That between the Yosher, you have the Igulim, the circles, and in Igulim, there's the light of Ein Sof. What enters the Yosher, there it's according to the intensity of the Kli, according to the Masach, and equivalence of 4. But if not for the Sfira of Yosher, in the Sfirot of Igulim, it's the same light of Ein Sof. And therefore, we need to see how much these Bchinot, these Sfirot even, how much they help each other. The Ranpin cannot discover its light if it won't have before it all of the Kelim that are there. Kete Chochma, Bina, let's say. Rather specifically, they work in such a way, these Kelim, so that the Ranpin will emerge and also receive what comes into it. So, there is a full, complete interconnection in through many actions between the Sfirot. And we have to realize that all of these Sfirot are connected to the first Havaya in Ein Sof. And there, it the whole correct interconnection is orchestrated, and only later it is implemented down below in the Olamot and Partzufim. So this first Havaya in Ein Sof is constantly receiving into itself more and more details from the Partzufim, the various Partzufim, down below in the Olamot, and it swallows them up, and they are included in it. This is why you should see each discernment as necessary as a result of the previous discernments, and what happens in it is necessarily in order to keep or sustain the next phenomena in line, the ones below it. So in this Kli, nothing exists in its own right. This is what we see, how it's all organized. There's no one, but everyone exists only in order to discover the Creator. And to discover the Creator means one for everyone. Each one is for the whole thing, for everyone. Well, there are no words here really, but the language here is incapable of conveying it. Please.
Oh, we
have
one. Yeah, number 1, inner light clarifies the light getting more coarse. This avyut has already been explained. It does not appear in the light at once, since it is opposite from the light. Instead, it hangs down from the pure to the slightly more coarse, and from there to the slightly more coarse, until it completes its avyut, or called Bchinat Daled or Malchut.
What is this avyut? We don't grasp light. There's no such thing as light. I don't know. Is there such a thing as electricity? There is different phenomena, and what you grasp as a result of electrons, things moving around. But what is electricity? This is a hidden force. We don't perceive the forces. We only can perceive the way it influences a certain substance. Same with light. It moves from place to place, chozer, yashar, with its different phenomena. We don't know. We just know that our vessels are impressed in a certain way that tell us that there are certain forces. And the kelim, they necessarily carry these things out. So, following the actions that take place inside the kelim, or the actions that take place inside the kelim, we call them light, meaning a hidden force acting within the desire.
Item 1, Opnimi. This avyut, coarseness, has already been explained. It does not appear in the light at once, since it is opposite from the light. Instead, it hangs down from pure to slightly more coarse, from there to the slightly more coarse, until it completes its coarseness, called Bchinat Daled or Malchut. These four discernments are called Chokhmah, Binah, Zer Anpin, and Malchut, and must be present in every emanated. The reason for the necessity and the definition of these discernments have been explained thoroughly above. Study there, and I rely on it and do not bring it here due to its length, though every word of it is needed. Item 2, Inner Light, clarifies the Keter of Atzilut. Ein Sof shines in it. Every Olam and every Partzuf, wherever it is, must receive its abundance from Ein Sof. Hence, the inspiration of Ein Sof that is ascribed to a certain world or Partzuf is called the Keter of that Olam and the Keter of the Partzuf. It is also called the emanator of that specific Olam, world. It is written that Ein Sof shines in the Keter of Atzilut, means that there is an inspiration of Ein Sof with respect to Olam Atzilut. That is why Keter is called Ein Sof or Ma'atzil. Item 3, Inner Light, clarifies Chokhmah receives from Keter. The expansion of the light of Ein Sof that extends from the first Keter to the Olam is called the light of Chokhmah. It is necessary that the will to receive the light will be incorporated with the light of Chokhmah, for otherwise the light of Ein Sof would be regarded as expanding. However, this will to receive is not really regarded as disparity of form and coarseness, because this will to receive came to her from the upper one, meaning from Keter. This is because the will to bestow in the Keter necessitates the existence of a will to receive in Chokhmah. That is the meaning of the words of the Rav, Chokhmah receives through Keter. It means that the reception in Chokhmah came to her from the Keter and by his power. Thus, a viyut from that type of will to receive is very frail indeed, and it is called Bchina Aleph. We'll read it again. Inner Light, number 3, clarifies Chokhmah receives from Keter. The expansion of the light of Ein Sof that extends first from Keter to the Olam is called Or Chokhmah. It is necessary that the will to receive the light of Chokhmah will be incorporated with this light of Chokhmah, for otherwise the light of Ein Sof would not be regarded as expanding. However, this will to receive is not really regarded as disparity of form and of youth, because this will to receive came to her from the upper one, meaning from Keter. This is because the will to bestow in Keter necessitates the existence of a will to receive in Chokhmah. That is the meaning of the words of the Rav, Chokhmah receives through Keter. It means that the reception in Chokhmah came to her from Keter and by his power. Thus, the viyut from that type of will to receive is very frail indeed, and it is called Bchina Aleph.
If anyone has a question very precise to the point, go ahead. None. Yes, Owen.
What does it mean that the desire to bestow in the Keter necessitates the will to receive in Chokhmah?
Because Keter begets Chokhmah. Because of the desire to bestow in the emanator, the will to receive in the emanated being is born.
So what does it mean about that will to receive?
That it corresponds precisely the will to bestow, which is in the keter.
And what does it mean that
between them there is an ideal kind of connection, perfect, because the lower comes out of the upper. In all of its forms, manners, intensity, force comes out of the upper, realizing precisely what the upper needs of it, meaning the lower is no longer considered as something existing in and of itself, but it is that upper that made the opposite of itself out of itself. This means born from the upper. What the upper planned and wanted and arranged according to the desire in the upper, precisely the very same way comes out the lower with its entire structure and all of its actions. In Chokhmah, there is nothing that could be like in the 10 Sefirot in general. And what happens in them, therefore, in all the 10 Sefirot is that what is revealed is the intention of creation that exists in Keter. That the intention of creation that exists in the Keter of Keter, why to create everything and how, then all that is revealed in the 10 Sefirot that are elicited from it necessarily, and it can't be any other way. And therefore the connection between the Sefirot, it completely corresponds in Avaya. I have not changed my Avaya, and this is how it is in the whole of creation. And the matter of the addition, which is revealed in the middle third of Tiferet, in between, the place where the created being can participate, meaning the measure to which the created being can develop himself to take the kelim that exist below the Tiferet and to raise them above the Tiferet, meaning to relate its will to receive to the will to bestow. It's a very non-clear situation, not conspicuous, because one way or another, where does the created being get a desire of its own? What is that free choice in him? So we learn that through the concealments that are built in the expansion of the Kli from above down, in the created being, as if there is a feeling that he himself can add an act. And even though that we can't understand it, the purpose of it is for us not to know. We can't digest it at the moment. How could something like that be that is born unknowingly because of the concealment? These are relative things, meaning something's hidden from me right now, and so I have to work in the dark, meaning that the upper, on purpose, gives me these kinds of conditions so that in them I will be able to identify with them, do something. So this is the work, this is the preparation of the upper toward me. Or is there really a place where the upper doesn't control, that he's not in power there, and only I can rule there and add to creation in a real way, and not like he does in make-believe. It's like when we play with kids, that we're as if losing to them, we're preparing something for them, but to us it's all clear and revealed. Now, here it's a question. I understand that the Creator is much higher than my calculations, our calculations. And therefore, I would like to think, even though that in the moment it is something that I can't attain, grasp, that the concealment is something that also works on him, not only on me. And the game is serious. That's really on the level of the Creator and not on the level of human beings, like with kids that we hide something from them in order to give them some kind of incentive to look and try and solve. So here, in the compatibility between the Sfirot, we still don't see the ability for it. Oh, we'll talk about it. Let's take it step by step.
Number 4, inner light. Chokhmah becomes more of as it expands, because when she completes the Itpashtu, the expansion, the desire in her increases and she extends the upper light from Chasadim, from Ein Sof, and distances herself from O Chokhmah, because this overcoming was made by her own awakening and not by an upper force. That desire is regarded as frail coarseness, but more than Chokhmah. It is therefore necessary that due to this change, Chokhmah becomes a separate Binah called Bchina Bet, the second discernment. This is the meaning of what the Ari said: Binah received the upper light through Chokhmah, through Harchaka, distancing. This is because this coarseness of Bchina Bet is called distancing, because she distanced herself from receiving the light of Chokhmah in order to receive the light of Chasadim. This overcoming of the desire is still not regarded as the complete coarseness, because it comes from a will to bestow and equalizes in form with the emanator. However, it is more coarse than Bchina Aleph, because the entire desire in Bchina Aleph is not hers, but comes from Keter. Bchina Bet acts out of her own overcoming of the desire, and that is why the second discernment is regarded as the root for the complete will to receive.
Meaning, where does the will to receive in the Malchut come from? From the will to bestow. From the will to bestow that awakens in the Binah, that wants to bestow to the Keter, and then it's frustrated. How can I bestow? And as a result, it develops the will to receive in the Malchut. Meaning, the will to receive, that's in the Sfirot, Partzufim, Olamot, before the shattering. It is a will to receive that never touched reception, real reception, it didn't really touch reception. Meaning, it all stems from the desire of the Binah to bestow, to give, to identify with the Keter. And as a result, it begins to develop the Malchut. Therefore, even in Malchut, her will to receive is entirely based on the desire to bestow. Therefore, there has to be the shattering, descents, confusions, in short, many actions in order to start working with the real evil inclination. And also here, meaning, as much as it seems to us that the world is all full of shells, klipot, but in all of these desires there is a very big will to bestow that operates everything, and as it says, enlivens everything. Next.
Inner light number 5 clarifies that now Ein Sof is far from it and she can receive it. After Binah awakened to draw the light of Chasadim from the emanator, it drew far from the light of Chokhmah. Otherwise, she would not have been able to receive the light of Chasadim, because the light of Chokhmah is extended by the will to receive, and the light of Chasadim by the will to bestow. Thus, Bchina Aleph and Bchina Bet are opposites from the beginning of their creation. That is why the Rav writes, now the Ein Sof is far from her, and she can receive it. It means that she drew far and became a third degree from Ein Sof, which is an average between Binah and Ein Sof. She left it because now she's distanced from the light of Chokhmah and became a third degree, Chokhmah being Bchina Aleph, the second to Ein Sof, and Binah being Bchina Bet, the third from Ein Sof. She could now receive the light of Chasadim that she drew. Had she not distanced herself to a third degree, she would not be able to receive.
Meaning Zeranpin has to be born from the Binah as her son, that is, on the one hand, completely under the control of Binah, and the Binah controls him with the light of Chasadim, giving birth to him, sustaining him by her own force, but in her will to receive. As much as he comes out of the Binah, necessarily he's separated from the Binah, meaning the Binah doesn't have that much freedom and dependence of its own, because the Binah, she gives birth to him and controls him, but he is the beginning of the will to receive.
We must know that the word far is a term that indicates the diminution of Chokhmah. As it is written, I said, I will get wisdom, but it was far from me. It is also the meaning of the verse, and his sister stood afar off. There is no reason to discuss it any further. 6. Inner light clarifies Zer Anpin receives the light through Chalon and Nekev Tzal. Binah also becomes more coarse at the end of her expansion because she distances the light of Chokhmah from her. It is known that the light of Chokhmah is the primary essence of the emanated. Thus, at the end of her expansion, the will to receive the illumination of Chokhmah into the light of Chasadim increased in her. Because the only difference between the spirituals is the disparity of form. This new illumination emerged, meaning the light of Chasadim, inside which there is the illumination of Chokhmah, and acquired a separate name, being Zer Anpin. It is called by that name because the light of Chokhmah is called the light of face. As it is written, a man's wisdom make his face to shine, because it has no more than the illumination of Chokhmah, but its essence is only the light of Chasadim of Binah. It is called Ze'er Anpin, meaning a small face, indicating the small amount of light of Chokhmah. It is also called Bchina Gimel, and the avyut in it is called Chalon and Nekev Tzal, a window with a small crack. Because it has been explained that the Masach appears in the upper one of the integration of the lower one is called Chalon, a window. That is because it has no dinim, but only reason for the illumination like a window. Because any avyut and Masach is the avyut from the integration of Bia in it. The avyut, the Zer Anpin, is called Chalon for the illumination or light of Gadlut.
Meaning Zer Anpin is It consists of two different desires, the will to bestow the Binah and the will to receive that's comprised in it, and therefore it consists of both, and therefore down to its upper half it's under the influence of Binah, then it has the will to receive of its own, therefore it's called Chalon and Nekev Tzal, meaning that these two desires, these two phenomena, the light of Chokhmah and the light of Chasadim, the illumination of Chokhmah and Chasadim spread in him. We'll learn about him in the future a lot.
Number 7 clarifies it is close, meaning there isn't the distancing of Chokhmah that exists in Binah, because the only difference between him and Binah that he has an illumination from Chokhmah. That is why the Ari writes, however he is near, meaning there isn't a distancing in him. Number 8 clarifies from Binah to Zer Anpin, it's not distant. The expansion of the light of Binah to Bchina Gimel, which is Zer Anpin, does not generate a distancing. On the contrary, it generates closeness of Chokhmah. It has already been explained that near and far are definitions of Chokhmah.
There's the matter here of necessarily being born, coming out in the desire of Binah, and therefore even though that there is something in him that's opposite to the Binah, he's not considered far away. Because he was born from the will to bestow. There's a difference what kind of desire you're born from, the will to receive, and maybe you're the will to bestow, but still there's some kind of oppositeness in this connection, whereas if you're born from the will to bestow, even if you're opposite, there's not that much of a distance. Okay? So, if you hear, you hear. If you don't, you don't. It'll permeate, bit by bit. These are so basic things that we won't be able to escape them. We'll learn them 1,000 more times.
9 clarifies the Nukba of Zer Anpin. The light comes through the Nekev and Chalon, just like in Zer Anpin. After the 3 Pchinot of Aviyut fully expanded to the point that Zer Anpin was fully expanded, the complete will to receive that is fit for reception had awakened. It is called Pchinat Daled or Malchut or Nukba of Zer Anpin, where the Tzimtzum took place. Thus, from the Tzimtzum, the restriction and onward, this Pchinat Daled no longer receives the light of Ein Sof. Hence, her Pchinat of Aviyut is called Harchaka, distancing. She too has 2 degrees, called Chalon and a narrow Nekev, as in Zer Anpin. The influence of the Gadlut is called Chalon, and the influence of the Katnut is called Nekev Tzar. There is a big difference between the Archaka and Pchinat Bet and the Archaka and Pchinat Daled. The Archaka of Pchinat Bet is a voluntarily Archaka, as it says, because he delights in mercy, meaning she wants Chasadim and not Chokhmah. The Archaka of Pchinat Daled, however, is forced Archaka due to the Masach that was erected in Pchinat Daled.
Okay? You want to sing?
טוב. מה, אמנון? אז מה אמנון? אם צביקה לא, אז אמנון כן?
If Tzvika doesn't, then he does.
נו.
Well, maybe we'll need another air conditioner, so let him ask.
Rav, you said that the desire to bestow to the upper one, to Binah, it creates Bchina Aleph. And it sounds like it should be the opposite. If I want to bestow, why do I need a deficiency?
You're right. We're going a bit deeper in here, and into the material, and so we have good questions. Where does the desire to bestow of the Binah come from? It's not a desire to bestow like in Keter. It's not just that same desire to bestow, but the desire to bestow of Binah comes as a result of seeing how Keter bestows the Chokhmah, builds the Chokhmah, fills it up. And this entire action that the Keter performs, where does it learn from? It doesn't feel the Keter. She feels it from Chokhmah. Meaning, the Chokhmah that gives birth to me is full. How is it full? In front of it, there is something that fulfills her. In front of her, there is something that created her. Her desire to receive, that filled her up. Meaning, there is someone that gives, loves, fulfills. And what do I feel there? Says the Binah. I feel the upper. That this upper, because he has received everything from his upper, the Keter, what does he want? After that, he wants to bestow, to be like the Keter. But not to bestow like the Keter. He's already bestowing like the will to receive that is about to be the bestower. Therefore, Binah is B'china Bet of Aviyut. It's a very big difference. B'chinat Shoresh of Aviyut, like Keter, or B'china Bet of Aviyut, like Binah. That her desire to bestow comes as a result of feeling what does it mean to be a receiver? What does it mean to receive all this benefit? And after I receive all this benefit, then as a result of the benefit that I attain in it, the will to bestow of the upper, then I'm impressed by that and I want to be like him. Meaning the will to receive of the Binah stems from her wanting to resemble, to be like the Keter. This is the main thing here. And this later on brings about the entire correction of the 10 Sfirot that comes from the Binah. And you asked what?
So why does she build B'china Aleph, the will to receive?
Who?
The Binah. She wants to resemble Keter, so she...
B'china Gimel builds it.
No, she builds Aleph.
No, I don't understand what you're talking about. Shoresh Aleph Bet Gimel Daled Avaya. So, B'china Bet, which is Binah, gives birth to B'china Gimel. She herself is B'china Bet of Aviyut. Why is she coerces in the Keter? The Keter receives. And she bestows. Why is she coercer? Because her entire will to bestow comes as a result of her feeling the reception from the upper of the upper, the Keter, and therefore she becomes a bestower toward the Binah. No, okay. No Roy Meron. There is.
יש עוד אהבה בעולם, גם אם השתכחה, גם אם הסתתרה, גם אם טרם גילית את סודה. יש עוד אהבה בעולם, גם אם השתכחה, גם אם הסתתרה, גם אם טרם גילית את סודה. היא השיר של החיים, היא האור של השירים, קבל אותה אל תרתע, רק לך היא נועדה. יש עוד אהבה בעולם, יגלו כולם, רק לפתוח צוהר חם, היא כבר תמצא לה את דרכה לשם. היא השיר של החיים, היא האור של השירים, קבל אותה אל תרתע, רק לך היא נועדה. היא השיר של החיים, היא האור של השירים, קבל אותה אל תרתע, רק לך היא נועדה. היא השיר של החיים, היא האור של השירים, קבל אותה אל תרתע, רק לך היא נועדה. יש עוד אהבה בעולם.
השיעור מבוסס על מאמרים מהספר כתבי רבש. את הספר ניתן לרכוש באתר kab.co.il או בטלפון 1-700-509-209.
Hello, we're reading from the Passover booklet, the article called Anyone Who Sanctifies the Seventh, Part 2. You can find it on the new archive, archive.kbb1.com, article number 380, Rabash, Anyone Who Sanctifies the Seventh, Part 2. Anyone who sanctifies the seventh, as he should, his reward is great, according to his work. We should understand the meaning of according to his work. Also, what is the novelty? Since in corporeality we also receive reward only according to our work, and one who works overtime receives a higher salary than one who does not work overtime. Hence, what is the novelty in saying his reward is great, and then saying that he will be rewarded only according to his work? Our sages said, he who walks and does not do, the reward for walking is in his hand. We should understand the meaning of doing. Our sages said, great is the learning that yields action, and is not the learning that is most important, but the action. Bala Sulam interpreted that an action is when a person turns his vessels of reception into vessels of bestowal. As our sages said, let all your actions be for the sake of the Creator. The Midrash says that this doing is the meaning of I have created the evil inclination, I have created the Torah as a spice, that this is the doing to which one should come. Our sages said, man's inclination overcomes him every day. If the Creator did not help him, he would not overcome it. We should understand why the Creator we should understand of bestowal, our sages said, let all your actions be for the sake of the Creator. The Midrash says that this doing is the meaning of I have created the evil inclination, I have created the Torah as spice. This is the doing to which one should come. Our sages said, man's inclination overcomes him every day. In other words, why must one fight with the evil inclination while the Creator only helps him? But if the person does not begin the war, the Creator does not help him. Also, why does the Creator need man to make the war and then he will come and help him? As our sages said, one should always vex the good inclination over the evil inclination, and Rashi interpreted, make war with it. This implies that first, one must begin the war and then the Creator helps him. Bala Sulam explained, what Abraham asked the Creator, how will I know that I will inherit? And he said unto Abraham, know for certain that your descendants will be strangers in a land that is not theirs, and they will be enslaved and tortured 400 years, and afterwards they will come out with great possessions. Bala Sulam explained that when he saw the promise that the Creator has given him, saying, to give you this land to inherit, he said, how will I know, since there is no light without a kli? And he did not see that his sons would have a need for these attainments, but that they should be content with little. Therefore, he said to him, know for certain that they will be in exile and will want to emerge from the exile. Then, without the help, they will not be able to come out from the exile in Egypt. Therefore, by this they will have to receive his help. Also, each time they'll need more bestowal, and by this they will come to need the light of Torah, for only the Torah is the spice. This is as was said in the Zohar, he who comes to purify is aided.
So this is the question. The Creator organizes all kinds of conditions that we really want something, but we can't attain it on our own, and that's why we need Him. Right? Yeah. The jealous God. So, the question is, what do we need the Torah for? We need Him, okay. That's a question, please. Why? Except for the Creator developing a deficiency in us that we want to attain something which is above our nature, desire to give, I don't know, something like that. In the end, we see that we can't do it. We need to turn to Him until we finally get wise enough to turn to Him. And suddenly the Torah. What do I need the Torah? I need the Creator. What do I need the Torah for? Please.
He says that the Torah is spice that comes to reveal the evil inclination, the infinite difference between the Creator and created being, and the complete dependence of the created being on the Creator.
Maybe in order to develop the desire for the Creator.
So, we need the Torah so that we'll really succeed in turning to the Creator. Because right now we think that we're the only ones that can do it. on our own.
For us to succeed to reach the correct demand,
For us to understand that we can do it and that we have to turn to the Creator. The light does it.
maybe the Torah is what we work and fail in, and that's where we're asking for help.
It comes to develop our chisaron.
Because there's no fulfilling without a deficiency. The Creator is the filling. Where are we going to get a deficiency for Him? That's by the Torah.
Yeah, to continue with the friend, say that by trying to do what we have to do, the thing that corrects is the light in it, not the Torah itself. The thing that makes the change is the light. By trying to do and not succeeding, then you reach a true need to turn to the Creator for help.
The light is what purifies the intention that brings us to the correct demand.
As if I don't know, we talked about everything. I don't know what to add. Anyway.
Maybe the Torah is what develops the desire in us to receive that thing we want to receive.
Yeah. The Kli wants to adhere to its root and finds out that it's the opposite. Okay, what do I do now? Problem. And the Torah is the means by which it is possible to increase the chisaron and find the way to reach equivalence of form. Through the friends, through the connection, the masach, in order to reach adhesion, in order to eventually be capable of adhering to the root, getting the quality of the emanator, the Creator.
The Creator is the goal, the Torah is the means. It includes the whole method. How in the group, through annulment, integration, we draw that force that changes us. Also, on one hand, gives us a deficiency, and then when we have the deficiency, there's a vessel, and then the goal can be revealed. The whole Torah is to develop that vessel.
So maybe the conditions that he wants, this is actually called the Torah. He sets conditions, a system of relations that we have to meet, which is actually the Torah, and realizing it, this is something else.
Trying to think of a deficiency for the Creator without the Torah, it sounds like what exactly are you lacking? It's another need to fill yourself. Meaning you can't reach the correct yearning for the Creator without the Torah.
Israel, the light, and the Creator are one. Here, it's a matter of time and the process. The Torah, it connects us to the Creator. We're the desire to receive. He's the bestower. Anyone who sanctifies the seventh, part 2, this is as was said in the Zohar. He comes to purify his aided. It asks, with what? And it answers, with a holy soul. When one is born, he is given nefesh, soul, from the side of the pure beast. If he is rewarded more, he is given ruach, spirit. It follows that by this they will come to need the Creator's help and will thereby have the kelim to receive the inheritance of the land.
In what exactly do we need the Creator's help? In what exactly do we need the Creator's help that we turn to Him and receive the help? What kind of help exactly do we need from the Creator that if we turn to Him, we'll get it? Please.
We need help to get His attribute, to adhere to Him. The Torah, it comes to scrutinize the desire to receive with all its aspects and the ways of its correction, and in the good and the bad. Eventually, to change, you need the Creator's help.
We need change, that we don't have a desire to bestow. This intention, we don't have it, and that's what we need. We need a desire to want to bestow.
Or, from a different side, to come out of this prison called self-love, to break loose of it and really reach the quality of bestowal, that it's not just so. What I need the quality of bestowal for? In order to receive? No.
Rav, we want to have deficiencies in order to have a reason to turn to the Creator, or to not have deficiencies and not turn to Him. In short, we need the Creator, and then we're happy with the problems that we can turn to Him with, or are we happy that we have a Creator that we can turn to and then not have any problems, relieve ourselves from the problems? Please.
I didn't exactly understand the question. It's as if we need to turn to the Creator for Him to fulfill us, or to turn to Him to develop the deficiency, the chisaron in us. This was the question.
Rav, first of all, scrutinize the question. I see that it wasn't clear.
We need the Creator, or either for Him to solve our problems, or we need the problems in order to turn to Him. So we need the problems, but very precise, specific ones. The problem has to be one, that we have to bestow to the Creator, to others.
And He raises us from problems that have nothing to do with Him to growing and feeling a problem and directing it to Him, and feel that the solution of the problem depends on Him.
I'm not familiar with this, with such an experience of being happy with problems. And when the solution's close, you can look back and say, thank God there was this problem, because thanks to it I developed. But when a problem comes, problems, they push joy away. We want to take the path of hastening, to discover new challenges every time, overcome the evil, and adhere to the Creator through our connection, not through problems.
Rav, what's the difference in our turn, in our request, in the first case or the second case? When I come to ask from the Creator, I'm requesting help. So is the help just a reason for the connection? Or is the connection a reason to receive help? What's the difference in our request? How do I place my request?
It's the difference between the intention to receive or the one to bestow. If I'm asking for my problems to be solved, then actually I need the Creator as the stuff of reception. Only it's not the Creator then, but it's Pharaoh. But if I need the Creator in order to bestow, then I'm happy. I'm happy for the problems, even though that it sounds kind of weird.
And then we understand what the problems are, or that it's not what's happening in corporeality. That trouble is when we're disconnected from the work. And the fact that there's a need between us, it's gone. That's when the problems start.
The difference is the focus. As if nothing changes. There's the Creator, there's a problem, and either you're focused on the problem and the Creator's in the background, or you focus on the Creator and the problem's in the background.
Turning to Him, the request has to be in order to need to receive the desire to bestow, the desire to bestow to the others, to the Creator. The pain has to be in that. That is the problem. That's what it should be.
If a person uses the problems to turn to the Creator, then probably his approach is one of gratitude, joy, because the problems, they don't sadden him. To the contrary, he has an opportunity to turn to the Creator now.
Until Gmar Tikkun, there's no equivalence of form. And if we look at the lack of equivalence of form in our qualities as a problem, and we ask for help, so that is a created being that brings his own deficiency from a cheshena.
By this we can interpret what we asked. What does it mean that he walks and does not do? It is one who begins to walk on the path of the Creator to achieve action. This is the meaning of anyone who sanctifies the Shvi, seventh. And Bala Sulam interpreted that Shvi means Shabi Hu, meaning he is in me. Accordingly, it means that when one properly sanctifies the point in the heart within him, he begins to enter the exile in Egypt. At that time, he begins to see each time how far he is from the act of bestowal. Then kelim from within him, meaning deficiencies, which the Creator will later be able to fill. It follows that a person must begin the wars so as to have kelim and a need for salvation and the help of the Creator. As we said, if the Creator did not help him, he would not overcome it. It follows that he did not give man the ability to win the war on purpose, since through the war one obtains the kelim and need for the abundance. Hence, we need both, to enter the war so as to obtain kelim, and the help that is required is that specifically the Creator will help him, since through the help he obtains the inheritance of the land that the Creator promised Abraham. According to his work means the opposite of corporeality. In corporeality, each time we do a good job, we're paid according to the quality of the work. But here, it is the complete opposite. The more one sees that he is incapable of anything in the Kedusha, the more help he needs. Hence, each time he must be given more help from above, meaning greater attainment. It follows that his reward is great according to his work, meaning that when he sees his flaw, he can receive a greater filling. This is the meaning of going and not doing. He went to war but did not do, meaning that he could not make all his actions be for the sake of the Creator. He is told, the reward for walking is in his hand, meaning that specifically when one walks but does not do, meaning that specifically one who walks but does not do needs the help of the Creator, and specifically by this he receives the inheritance of the fathers.
Yes, let Tzvika, otherwise I don't know, we're gonna... He's all day, he's gonna walk around with this question and...
He says, but if a person doesn't go to war, he doesn't get help from the Creator. So, who am I supposed to fight all the time? Who am I fighting, actually?
That's exactly what he was talking. You didn't listen to the article.
I heard everything. I just don't get who am I supposed to fight.
It's not me asking. It's the people on the table are asking. It's not... They're demanding, poor guys.
So what am I supposed to do now? We're supposed to fight each other. What's the deal?
First of all, stop speaking for the people. Me, I am crying for them. Only I can be concerned about them, so help me. Give me a job, so I'll be concerned about them.
Okay, now I'm getting serious. We're in a workshop. He says that if we don't go to war, the Creator says, I can help you if you don't go to war.
What do you mean with who? With who is disturbing you from going into connection with the Creator?
So practically, what am I supposed to do in order to go into war with the friends or what?
Not at war with the friends. You're not against them.
With who then? The war is against whom?
What is stopping you from being a vessel to discover the Creator?
Can you give us an example?
What, you don't feel that between you there's something disturbing?
Not at all. We're so nice. Everyone's nice, having a good time, sharing.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So what are we supposed to do?
That you don't even discover that they're stopping bothering you from becoming one, even to the smallest extent. The smallest, tiniest measure to be as one called an embryo. That's it. The 3 days of absorption. What could be less than that? Nothing.
So what do you do?
Annul the separations.
Can you explain this a bit?
Constantly think, what is stopping us from feeling that we're in one heart with the Creator? That is the first point we need for spirituality. How to connect all our hearts with the Creator. And that's how it is throughout the whole ladder of degrees. Just the conditions will be different every time. Israel, the light, and the Creator are one.
This I still don't get. You said that your problem is that you didn't come to the point where you disclose your evil.
We don't discover the evil. We're never going towards bad or evil. We just want to do good. Whatever is disturbing us to do that good is called bad. That's called disturbing us.
What am I supposed to see?
It's a sign you didn't start getting close to them if you didn't discover the evil.
And if I do, what will I find out? That a coca is standing in my way now, or what?
That's not bothering you. You are bothering.
Me?
Yeah, you're the guy disturbing.
How is that?
Because you find that there's something in you that is disturbing you from connecting with a coca.
This the war? This the war he's talking about?
Yeah, that's the war. And to the extent that you can't connect between you, where everyone discovers as much as there's that hater sitting inside, to that extent you can locate the general hater called the evil inclination, which is in your 10, and he is stopping the Creator from clothing in you, from this being revealed. That's it. And then what do? You turn to him, you cry to him, you ask. What do you ask for?
Really, you're explaining. I mean, what? How? I don't know. What do you mean by war? With myself, with him, with what? Overcome that he's hurting my feelings, or what? I don't exactly know how to define the war between us and the ten, suppose. That's the closest thing to us right now.
I don't know how to explain it to you. I really don't. Let's say you want to get close to a cook or someone else, and you discover that there's something inside you that is rejecting him. You can't stand that guy. His character, he really isn't, He has all kinds of things. But he makes you mad, and So how can you overcome that?
So actually, when he makes me mad, I'm not supposed to get mad. I'm supposed to...
You want to organize yourself that everything that will be in you, you'll love.
Exactly, so he won't be able to spite me.
Now the question is, the fact that you love them, you'll see these qualities as bad and you'll be able to overcome them, or will you see them as good and then there won't be anything to overcome? Meaning you'll correct yourself that everything in him you'll love, or you correct yourself that you'll be able to overcome the disturbances that are in your body, and in this way connect. There's a few kinds of approach to this connection. That's what I started asking about. Either we ask for help this way, or...
So the war is against myself, not against others. With my desires.
Of course, until you feel the Creator instead of Him. The Creator, actually the Creator instead of Him. That's under the condition that you correct yourself to such a level.
And who helps me correct myself?
If nothing helps you?
No, who helps me correct myself? It's hard to overcome.
Ask, you have a group, except for them, you have nothing.
How do they help me?
I don't know. Ask the man.
Performing light, what?
To get forces. And not only Arvut, they'll tell you about the greatness of the friend you have to connect to, and you can't. They'll give you all kinds of means to do it. They must work on you.
Meaning they, together with the Creator, along with drawing the reforming light, along with their friends, this is actually the work that war that everyone has to wage on himself?
Yes, you don't have to connect with the Creator, you connect with the friends, and the Creator will reveal Himself. That's it. Okay? So, do it. Let's see. At least something. Yeah. We have another guy that wants to...
Good announcement for Tzvika. Tzvika, you can continue scrutinizing things this evening. We have a special lesson. We'll get together here as a part.
He probably has an important meeting.
So we're getting together here as a part of the Pesach Congress. We'll get together here at 5:30. 5:45, we'll prepare for the lesson. The lesson will be from 6 till 7:30.
Wow, what lesson?
Special lesson.
You're preparing it?
Yeah, we called it From Exile to Redemption.
Okay.
Friends will come from the entire Israeli clique. Actually, we're inviting everyone. Everyone, whoever wants to come from the Israeli clique is invited. We're getting together. And 6 till 7:30 we'll have a lesson. Afterwards there will be a short break. And then from 8 till 9 there will be a festive meal with you. Also we'll have performances and it's going to be really happy. And It's one of the two opportunities for the entire world Kli to get together as one family physically here. And we wanted to ask you, what is there about such a special gathering, physical one?
This specific holiday is a holiday of connection, that we sit together with the meal. It's a holiday where we're all as one family. It's specifically in Passover where we feel the connection, that by the connection we attain the freedom. So it's very important for us. Very important that everybody comes, everybody participates, and will learn and study and sing and drink and everything. Good. I'm very happy that this is going to be. And the topic, you're in charge of that, right? An hour and a half lesson, yeah.
And also we'll give an update, what we did on the archives since the big Congress, like we promised, and we'll present the changes and what are we going to do.
Yeah, that's very important. I hope finally we'll have the archive and be able to use it in such a way that it'll just be open, simple, push of a button, and it'll already go into the heart, from software to the heart.
Daily task from the Köln Düsseldorf group.
No, Köln.
Come on, Köln.
Yes. Thank you for this wonderful lesson. The daily task, repeat the lesson during the day and scrutinize what change should happen from within. At the end of the day, share it in your TENS meeting. Again, repeat the lesson during the day and scrutinize what change should happen from within. At the end of the day, share it in your TENS meeting.
הודעה לסיום, שיעור חגיגי, הנכם מוזמנים לצפות הערב בשעה 6.
So you're all invited to watch the lesson this evening. Thank you and have a great day and a good night. And all as one World Kabbalah Convention in North America, we're inviting all of our friends from the 3rd to the 6th of May. For further details, one.kabbalah.info. Now, everyone summarizes the lesson in a few sentences. We'll dedicate 2 minutes for it. Please.
רגיל של הקלאץ', זה לא נורא. אנחנו נוגעים אוטומט. סיכום. סיכום. אברהם, למה הוא ביקש? מה הוא ביקש?
כל חבר מוזמן לשתף את סיכום השיעור שלו.
Every friend is invited to share their summary on Sviva Tova, and let's sing.
מאהבה נולדנו כולם, אל האהבה נחזור.
הדמעות מלוכות כמו הים, הניצות שבנו כמו אור.
אלפי דרכים בעולם, רק אחת תוביל אל הדרור.
בין השמחות והדמעות, איך נדע מה לבחור?
איך נדע,
החיים הם נדנדה.
מהאמת רואים הפוך,
מגבוה רואים נמוך.
איך נדע,
החיים הם נדנדה.
מהאמת רואים הפוך,
מגבוה רואים נמוך.
כשאהבה רחוקה מהלב,
הגעגוע גובר.
מורח ילדות שנצרח,
עוד מהבית הישן בחצר.
בליבו של כל אדם
יש ניצוץ של אהבה,
כמו כינור ומיתרה, כמה יפה מנגינה.
איך נדע,
החיים הם נדנדה.
מהאמת רואים הפוך,
מגבוה רואים נמוך.
איך נדע, החיים הם נדנדה.
מהאמת רואים הפוך,
מגבוה רואים נמוך. איך נדע,
החיים הם נדנדה.
מהאמת רואים הפוך,
מגבוה רואים נמוך.
For they generate each other by the way of cause and consequence. Item 30, or Pnimi, scrutinizing that the Tachtonim do not have the strength to receive that light should it expand further. Because the force of the Tzimtzum rides over Bchina Daled, Bchina Daled does not have the strength to receive or. Item Mem, referring to when the 10th Kli of Atzilut was completed. Item 40. Mem, This refers to Bchina Dalet, called Malchut. By that he tells us that we should note that the Kli of Malchut and the Masach in it are two separate matters. The Kli of Malchut is an or that became Av at the level of Bchina Dalet, which is affected by the Tzimtzum, and the Masach and the Pargod were erected in her later. Item